everybody. Welcome tonight. I'm going to try and make this quick, but this is a bill and a law. I'm going to preface this with, please tell your legislators that if they ever write another law and pass it to the Virginia Department of Education again, we will riot. One, the Department of Education is hired. The Board of Education is the constitutional authority. One. So the laws written aren't even constitutional because they're authorizing them to the department, who has zero constitutional authority, and the board cannot promulgate authority to the hired department. Okay? All right, let's cover that. Don't ever write another, you're the lawmakers, make the law, don't hand it to the Department of Education or the Board of Education, or you will end up with this, okay, that nobody knows about. So let's jump right to that. What have I been talking? It's called Digital Devices in the Classroom. Guys, the website is, the VDOE site is so full of information, whether you want to see it or not, unfortunately. Let me, why am I on the chat? Share my screen. Okay, here we go. So, it is called Digital Devices in the Classroom. Where did I find it? Well, for this time, I've had it saved forever. I just Googled it. And you can go, you can find it 100 places. But you can find it on the VDOE site. It's called Digital Devices in the Classroom. Doesn't it look pretty? It looks just like SEL. It looks just like transgender model policies. So you can probably guess what year it was created. Yes, the shitstorm of James Lane, 2020, was the legislation, 2021. Okay, June 2021. Seems to be an ominous year for a whole lot of stuff before our new government came into play that nobody still knows about. So yeah, this one is extremely important because let's read this is why you should tell your legislators, never write another law handing anything. You're elected. We elected you. We didn't elect you to write a paragraph and then hand it off to the board or the Department of Education, who then comes up with stuff like this and the transgender model policies and social emotional learning and all that stuff. Okay, that's what the legislators did. They wrote it, oh, we need this, hand it to you, who are driven by all those people. They lobby for more federal funding. Okay, we elect you, write a law. Do not pass it ever again. So, real quick, the law is HB 817. Public schools' use of digital devices. And then you can click on the link, and it'll take you here. So, Patrick Hope, public schools' use of digital devices. And just so real quick, I'm going to show you guys, when you click on the link, it's going to take you here. And I'm going to show you guys real quick how to read legislation. Sorry. So then you go to history. Okay. And then this is the history. So pre-filed in order is how when they submit it, this is what they send. Okay. This is what they send. You can highlight and see this is all new. So, and then you're going to go and you can see House amendments adopted. And it looks like after peer reviewed. That's where you find all this stuff, is you find how, because it's very important to understand how it was filed, what committee changed it in the House, the Senate, what they added, because that's what happened with Dunnacant and the sexually explicit material. It actually went in maybe meaning something, and by the time the Senate and Louise Lucas and Mamie Locke and all them got their claws into it, the book provision had been added. So it's very important that you know how to read legislation. And so then, of course, the Senate had amendments. Let's see. Oh, look, they added this little shady thing here. So I'm just showing you so you know how to read legislation. But a lot of times that's where you're going to find. But so this is where let's see. So I think you'll see your nays and your yays and your nays. And if I go out to Unionville tomorrow, I'm going to ask Freitas what his issue was with it. So everybody, let's see, thought this was great. See, the bill says, let's remember what the bill says. That the Department of Education, in collaboration with the Department of Health and medical professional societies, shall develop and distribute for use by local school boards health and safety best practices guidelines for the effective integration of digital devices in public schools no later than 2021-2022 school year. That would be last year. The guidelines shall be based on peer-reviewed, independently funded studies and shall at a minimum, when stuff like this, at a minimum, address digital device use for different age ranges and develop levels and the amount of time spent on digital devices in the classroom. Appropriate break frequency from the use of digital devices, physical positioning of a digital device in the classroom, the use of digital devices for homework, and recommended teacher training to ensure best practices. Okay, I want to point out to you before we jump to the actual guidelines that it says right here, the DOE and VDH and medical professional societies. Okay, if you are not elected, stop handing law off. They're stakeholders. Okay, those are the people that I talk about. We are not. Okay, what society? Who are you going to bring in to develop these policies? This is not a law that means anything, because you're going to see what happens. And I bet no one even is that. I wrote every senator and delegate I know today, and I said, did you even know that because you were in office 2 years ago, that this is what they wrote? First of all, did you even follow up that this was even done? Or did you follow up to see what it said? Or did you follow up even to see if any divisions were doing it? Because you voted on it and you handed it to an agency, and then it's free for all, which is the problem. Okay, but then it says right here, shall develop and distribute for use by local school boards health and safety best practices. You're going to see why that's so important in a second. So they go through, and the introduction, it says, in January 2020, Virginia legislators passed a bill requiring Virginia Department of Health, VDOE, in collaboration, blah, blah, blah. We just read that. The guidelines address digital device use for different age ranges. Frequency, yes, everything we just read. The guidelines will include 3 major focus areas. Okay. They're guidelines. Remember, the law says, and distribute for use by local school boards. Remember that. Do you know about this? No. There's a reason. So it goes through and it says the VDOE will post guidelines, suggestions on how to use this guide, print the infograph, review the guidelines with parents and other stakeholder groups, include guidelines in school newsletter, review guidelines with the school health professional. Okay. And then here's another problem, is that you've got the same Sarah Bazemore, school counselor. Okay, she's also SEL, transgender, everything that we're saying. Guess where she came out of? Chesterfield. Shocker? No. Let's see. I'm not even going to break down. I don't have time because I'm tired. But so then when you pull this up, if you have, oh, look, BCU, shocker. Is that, okay, so here's the problem, sorry. So it goes in and it gives all of these, I guess, great things that school boards should do. But I'm first going to show you real quick what the problem is. And then I'm going to go back through. Okay. So it gives you all these stuff. Okay. Why am I reading double? Oh, wait. Anyway, when I find it, I'll tell you. We'll go through it from the top to bottom so I don't lose it. But it goes on and it says that school boards may adopt it. May. Okay. Let's remember the law says to develop and distribute for use by local school boards. There's nothing in here that says may adopt. Okay. So that's the problem number one. So tomorrow or tonight, I hope every single person writes your school board and says, do you have a policy on HB 817 from 2020? You don't? Or how about you write the Board of Education? Elizabeth Schultz, Jillian Balow, Governor Youngkin, Jason Miyares. I mean, we know they're not going to do anything because to them, but here's the thing, is that the law is what matters. The VDOE did not follow the law. And nobody followed up. So you need to call your people because you can see back on the legislation how everybody voted. Okay? You can go to your house. All right? To your people who voted nay. Fowler, Freitas, that we care about. And all the people that voted yay. Okay? And ask them, are you aware you voted yay? And to the ones that voted nay, who should be angry, because I'm sure that they voted nay for a reason. I don't know what it is. And then go to your nays. And then your yays and ask them. I did today, forcefully. Have you read this? Especially the ones that voted yes. But even the ones that voted no, we've got Chase, Obashane, Reeves. I mean, there's people not in the loony left. And the crazy thing about this is that usually the left hates data and technology. Not in Virginia. So go to these people. Okay? Oh, let's look. Oh, look. Lucas, yay. Locke, yay. Oh, Donovan, shocker. Yay. But ask these people, have you followed up? Did you know what has been written? And did you know that not one school board has ever adopted it? So after they go through their list of, the same people that they've probably used on all the guidelines, the same doctor, we're going to use you for social emotional learning, and we're going to use you for transgender, and we're going to use you for digital devices in the classroom, and we're going to use you for everything. Because, you're just an optometrist? That's fine. We can put you down. It just says doctor. It doesn't matter. So here's where the gets going. It says, as school divisions respond to the changing and technological needs of students and teachers, let's be clear, the needs. Digital devices are being used to enhance teaching and learning. I'm going to tell you real quick, they're not being used to enhance teaching and learning. They are used for teaching and learning. So the reason we don't have textbooks is Virginia is one of 19 states that has state implemented textbooks. Okay? So the fact that if you do have a division, it means somebody in your school or your division went rogue. Because the rest of them leave it up to the locality. So the fact that we don't have textbooks, it's coming down from the Virginia Department of Education. One of 19 states plus DC. Okay? So that's why it's an entire state. It's because we are one of 19 states. Why? Standards of learning. Global education. Zero education transparency. Because if you have a book you can read, or a book, I opened up a great article, textbooks advantages and disadvantages, from Teacher Vision, and it goes on to say, let's see, a textbook series provides you with a balanced chronological presentation of information. Textbooks are a detailed sequence of teaching procedures. That's not what you don't, when they say, a computer is not the same as a textbook because there is no balanced sequence. They have standards to teach to. They don't have a way to get there. And then all they're using is ed tech software that's being differentiated for the instruction for your personalized learner. So if you have one textbook being taught to all children, as I've been saying, they can't have personalized learning to make your children workforce ready for whatever their scores deem them they need them to be in the fourth industrial revolution if they have an actual book. Okay? Because that would be all children getting the same book. See? All children are not malleable. All children don't have the competencies, the skills that they need for workforce-driven education. To be a cog in the machine. Okay? For the pre-crime minority report that 50 to 60% of jobs for children haven't even been created yet. Are you getting it yet, the problem? And why Youngkin in the World Economic Forum and being a driver in all this for about 15 years is a problem? And that this is the setup? Everything that's come up to here has been the setup? Boop, 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 boop. Bink. Here we are. Okay, so back to this. So it says, right here, because of technology advancement, our nation's workforce is changing rapidly. This was supposed to be digital device, like health and safety guidelines, not more workforce. So our nation's workforce is changing rapidly. Okay, like they literally write it down. Educators are witnessing these changes and are taking a multifaceted approach to tackling them. They are redesigning their curriculums, integrating technology, infusing 21st century learning techniques. If you have not gotten it yet, what 21st century living or skills, and you still have a delegate that you respect, that has on their I'm running for whatever seat that their education goal is 21st century skills, you need to call them again, because I have, and been like, you need to take that off your board because you have no idea what you're talking about, or you're swamp swimming. It's as easy as that. Easy as that. I mean, which graphics do we want? I mean, 21st century learning. This one's always great. Okay. So this is what I tell people. Stop saying we need to teach how to learn. Okay? You need to teach what to learn. The what is the facts. Because for 21st century learning, how people learn, globalization, technology innovations equals 21st century learning. Okay? The how is the critical thinking I always talk about. Top-down learning, let's teach children at the age of 5 who don't have reasoning skills, age of reason, cause and effect until age 7. 21st century learning is media-driven, diverse. They say increased transparency, but it's not like we think. It is visible products. Okay, that's the transparency, not what we're talking about. Interdependent, adaptable, data-rich, transfer. Okay, so personalized. Learning is personalized by platform, interest, assessment results, self-selected pace. Do you not understand the problem with personalized learning yet? Each child will receive personalized learning. And don't ask me where I got this, because you can look up 21st century learning on Google, hit images, and find about 55 of these. People ask me like they're questioning, like I made it. I have time to like create 30 years of education policy globally. Okay? So, inquiry-based learning is the problem. Project-based learning, play-based learning. When you hear these words, the alarms need to go off in your head. But right here, personalized learning. Learning is personalized by the platform, by the computer, the interest of who, by the assessment results. Learning is personalized by assessment results. Okay? Media-driven. When you hear the word literacy from now on, they're not talking about reading, they're talking about digital literacy. Okay? Media literacy. Nothing means what it used to. Data-rich. Persistent and highly consumable data and planned data. How is data planned data? How do you plan data? Learning centered, okay? So when we talk about learner centered, it's literally, and I broke this down for you in a different one. Let's see, this one, about the ins and outs, like what, you know, which is exactly everything. Okay, so education in, like, the ends. Okay, so let's speak here. Out is the teacher is the expert and the deliverer of the content. That's the out. And again, you can search education ins and outs, and then I mean I have 800 like I have so many actual with this same stuff in it. So what's in now is where you're going to find the student-centered learning. Educator is the coach, the mentor, the guide, and the resource, and the lead learner. Okay. Out is content. Content is fact as the center of instruction. Education in, learner is the center of instruction. They are not teaching children facts, guys. 100%. That's not what they're teaching them. They are teaching them how to examine everything from a global world view. 4 stages of integration of technology and learning. Directed. It says learners are directed. Access. So we already have access. The stage is characterized by powerful access information. Mobile technology. And then self-directed. Boom, we're right here. Digital media. Look right here. Learning networks. Guys, gamification of education. If you haven't, this is why I started screaming when everybody's like, yay, Youngkin brought Lego in. They're not going to build one single block. It's Lego Metaverse. You're going to have Minecraft teaching your children. You're in the next couple years, they're going to be, you think you're mad about Chromebooks, which I'm going to get back to. If you don't think that they're going to have VR goggles with no teachers in the classroom, just on bare walls, it's coming. That's why they don't care to replace teachers. They don't care to replace teachers because you can't differentiate instruction. You can't have individual education plans, Julian Balow. You can't have personalized learning with one teacher for 30 students. Every child cannot get an IEP. Not to mention, they don't care about the children who actually need IEPs. To my SPED parents out there, I'm here for you. They don't care about SPED children who actually need IEPs. They're going to give all children IEPs. And then the SPED children who actually need them, they already have one. It's in their Chromebook. Oh, they're dyslexic? Let's let them read from a screen all day long. That sounds like a great idea to keep children educated. So, sorry. Okay, right here. Now keep in mind, liberal left wrote this. Who does this sound like? Okay? Glenn was still in Davos here. Okay? To ensure that our students are ready to meet the demands of an ever-changing labor market. This was under James Lane. This was written with James Lane, Atif Corney, and the Looney Tunes who did transgender, who did social emotional learning, who did how to be an anti-racist leader. Okay? So if you're not understanding yet that we have a very big swamp problem and there's a uni party here, this was written when Glenn was still in Davos, pre-planning how he was going to come in here and do the final solution. This was not written with Amy Gadara. This was written prior to Amy Gadara. Okay? Just real quick. So, to meet the demands of an ever-changing labor market. Keep in mind, the bill was not about that. The bill was best practices and posture and that kind of stuff. Okay? It was not about curriculum or how to make our children human capital. Digital devices, and then they go into defining what a digital device is. We know what they are. Look, virtual reality, guys, right there. Smartphones, smart boards, e-readers, not just laptops, response systems. Pre-crime, are we seeing what's going to happen? Okay. When implemented successfully, incorporating a device provides all students with an opportunity to make a deeper connection with the content as well as their learning. I'm going to read from here because I can't read from a screen because I'm one of those people that when I read from a screen, I could have never learned anything had I not had textbooks to highlight and take notes in. Like my children actually have textbooks now. Thank God. We're going broke paying for them to actually read a textbook. How do you learn to love algebra from a screen? Or a click, oh, click, click, click. No, you have to work the problems out. You have to see it visually. They don't have to show their work anymore. It's a click, 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 click. How do you show your work on a computer screen, guys? I had somebody contact me 2 days ago upset because his kindergartner has a Chromebook at home learning how to read on Lexia, Dreambox. Meanwhile, my 5th grader is at home and we're writing out papers and she's walking around the house sounding out phonics. They're not doing that, guys. That's not the science of reading. If you haven't read the Illiteracy Act, there is an increased demand for learning materials to be accessible. I gotta stop reading that screen. Y'all can see it. If you can't, I can't zoom in. I'll download it anyway. And then maybe it'll download fast enough so I can pull it up in a second. And then zoom in. But then it goes into understanding, I'll read, sorry. Understanding how parenting and family dynamics both influence and are influenced by the use of digital devices and media is crucial to identify strategies to benefit child health and development. Why are you talking about parents? Why did it do this? Oh, because it's a Word file. I forgot. Well, let me zoom in. Oh, yeah. Cool. Sweet. Okay. Oh. Okay. So now y'all can read it. But I still can't read it. So I'm just going to get y'all to where I am. But you should have been able to find it by now. Okay. Where am I? Oh, I love this part. See if you can make this sentence make sense. The use of so I'm right here. The use of electronic media in youth has been linked to an increased risk for developing symptoms of mental illness, specifically putting youth at risk for developing anxiety and depression, which may require professional attention. Recent research has also demonstrated that electronic media use may also have a positive impact on mental health of youth, including those that already have mental illness. What? So, okay, so wait a minute. It puts them at risk, but then it also, this is the law. Bravo. Bravo, General Assembly 2020. Bravo to those of you that voted nay, because everybody that voted nay, I'm so proud, is sponsoring my legislation. It's going to be epic when it hits. It's not mine. I just compiled 6 pages of law nobody's following. So they're violating their oath of office, school boards, everybody. But it's sad you have to write a bill. But anyway, that sentence right there, okay, and especially in the last few years, it doesn't take a genius to find about 300 million pages of not only screen damage, but RF. If you didn't know this, your Chromebooks have RF chips. They never once in here mention RF radiation. Never once do they mention RF radiations. And all those Chromebooks have RF chips in them that are tracking children everywhere that they go. And you can't get them out. Not to mention RF. So then if your child comes home from school and you've never been told that RF radiation is there or bad, and your child let them sit with their laptop in their lap all day long, doing work when they get home after that they've been on for 8 hours a day. Okay. So the evidence to support the digital media as a positive or negative element in life of youth is far from clear, and is probably so because of being dependent on multi-variables in the child, the family, and their environment. So your answer to that is completely remove parents from ever knowing that their children are in danger. Okay? Anyway, it's a whole bunch of other gaslighting BS. So it says, now more than ever, schools must work with families to support students as they become digital citizens and learn to balance their screen time. Really? Did your school notify you to support your student? Did any of this is going on? No, because then that would open your eyes like COVID did as to what's going on inside that computer, and they don't want to do that. This shared responsibility for educators and caretakers. No, I'm the parent. You're more than welcome to include caretaker and parent. is essential not only for academic reasons, but to build habits that promote healthy and mental... what? Okay. So here's the thing, right here. They literally create a standard of learning. That's not what the bill said, okay? Foster online safety. Set clear, consistent, realistic expectations for students when using... No, your job was to create what? Guidelines for health and safety concerns. Not a standard of learning as to what students should learn out of the machine. Then it says student and parent use. So we're supposed to set clear, consistent, realistic expectations based on what? What nobody ever told us? We're supposed to set up a learning workspace? This is the problem with everything in education. There is zero transparency. Not only is it non-trans, it is opaque. Parents have trusted too long, which is, hey, guys, I was one a year and a half ago. And I've had to, in less than a year, okay? You don't have a book to see what your kid's learning. The teachers don't have a book to guide a curriculum. We're 50th in the nation again, which if you didn't watch my show last night, Governor Youngkin admitted multiple times on the campaign trail, but we weren't listening at the rallies. We were like, yeah, he's going to save us, but we didn't hear what he said. So all these things right here about, okay, so right here. It is paramount to consider best practices related to screen and online time, and it's paramount. Really? It's paramount. So they say ages 2 to 5, 1 hour, 6 plus, 2 to 3 hours for elementary school students. I know my sister's in elementary schools. They are on that thing all day. All day. Look. So they're saying 6th grade for secondary, 6th grade to 12th grade. 3 to 4 hours. In an 8-hour day, what are they doing with those other 4 hours? They're certainly not interacting or making note cards or taking notes from a chalkboard. They're on those things all day. Preserve offline experiences. Yeah, no, they're not doing that. Take breaks from the screen every 20-30 minutes. There is nobody here that every 30 minutes their teacher says, okay, let's take a brain break. No. Rest eyes. 15 minutes for every 2 hours of screen time. Ask your child if they've ever been asked to rest their eyes for 15 minutes. Not happening. Be cognizant of text size and size devices used to access materials to reduce eye strain. So they're acknowledging all this stuff happens. Consider monitor positioning. Encourage complete and frequent blinking. Anybody know of anybody that's ever had their child talk about my teacher made me blink today? Monitor sleep patterns to ensure screen time is not... That would require parent notification. Oh, again, and then here we go. Stop device use 60 to 90 minutes before bedtime. Again, parent notification. Transparency. Encourage students to spend at least an hour outside every day. Okay, this is parenting. That was not your job when you developed these guidelines for health safety. Okay? You worry about what you do, and then you notify me this exists. That's your job, not to tell me how to parent. I don't know this exists. Remember that. Become educated about potential negative effects of excessive screen time. Guys, who has been shamed by their pediatrician with screen time for about 10 years? Everybody. 1 hour a day. Except in schools. And then you can be on it 8 hours a day. You know, it doesn't matter. Be aware of potential signs of eye strain. Guys, kids are having migraines. I mean, not to mention they're using the American Academy of Pediatrics. They're using... Oh, the U.S. Office of Education Technology. I'm sorry, what? That's like Castle citing Castle that SEL works. So then they go into ergonomics and posture, and then how students should posture position their elbows. It's a whole bunch of well-lit spaces, monitors, you know, movement, take breaks, include physical movement, aerobic exercise, utilize brain breaks. Then it has a whole bunch of resources. So the problem exists, and where is it so I can find it on here? Oh, right up here at the beginning. So remember, the law, we'll go back to it, said to develop and distribute health safety best practices. So when they wrote this, they were either, I'm guessing whoever took the time to write this cared enough to write it. But this is the problem why legislators should not be writing legislation, is because the VDOE found that out in there. And this is why nothing should go to an agency, because that's how education policy works. Usually, they write a law, they pass it to the agency. Oh, and then you have those things called guidances. That's the third part, which is literally a would you please. So instead of ban critical race theory, we got a would you please stop. Oh, you're not? Okay. So develop and distribute health. He did not put an implementation. It says, but look, for use of digital devices no later than. So yes, common humans would think this has to be done. That's what this says right here. To distribute it, and then for use in public school. It did not give a you must. It required the department to collaborate, to develop, and then distribute the standards. But right here, when we go back up to the beginning, it says, all right, right here. School divisions are encouraged to share and provide training guidelines directly to school personnel and students and post. They are encouraged. That's the problem right here. Encouraged. That's not, let's go back. Patrick Hope. Is he still seated? Does anybody know? Delegate P. Hope at house.virginia.gov. Let's all write him. I don't even know who he is. Oh, probably a Democrat. Just guessing. Just saying. But let's post that. Delegate, I'm gonna copy email address. And let's see. Hey Heather. Sorry, I didn't see that till now. The LI, it's on the Word document, so if you, I'll post it. So let's see. I typed in digital devices in the classroom, VDOE. But here's, sorry, no, that's the, okay, don't type in VDOE, just type Virginia. And then it took me to here. No, these are all the places, like Virginians for Safe Tech, Virginia's Family Special Education, all these different organizations that posted about these standards. Okay, but when you open, it's a Word doc, and I don't know what, no, it's going to take you to the VDOE page. I think it's right here. Okay, so, yes, go to this page, the virtual learning page, it's buried in here. And then, here, I'll post it. So when you go here, it goes straight to the bill. But the guidelines document that I just had, it has a link inside of it. It has the actual bill right here, and then it has the link. But it says shall is will, not may. Shall develop and distribute for use by local school boards and health safety best for use, not Sorry, my monitor. So right above it, or was it? Oh, sorry, down here. Training. School divisions are encouraged. No. For use by. Not school divisions are encouraged. Okay? So guys, this is one major problem. Because you can go in and you can type in damage to children with RF radiation. Boom, it's right there. It's not even questioned anymore. They do not know what RF, which would be radio frequency, RF chips in the computers. We have begged Chesterfield County, just hardwire them. Put in Ethernet like I had in my dorm in college in 1998. Hardwire them so they are not constantly Wi-Fi pinging. Okay? Screen time damage. Why do you think pediatricians have been shaming parents for 10 years about how much screen time? Because it damages kids having migraines, eye issues. We don't even know what it's going to do. But this legislation was left, again, do not ever write another legislation having to do with education and hand it to the VDOE ever again. This is the prime example why. If SEL and transgender did not solidify it for you, this one here, nobody can call this racist or transphobe or bigot or anything. And the fact that we actually had Republicans saying no to this and Democrats saying yes, there's a problem with that, okay? Because they knew that doing this, but guys, we're like flip-flop across the world, like across the nation. Nationally, most liberals hate data, hate technology, because they don't want to be part of the New World Order, World Economic Forum, okay? Virginia is like the anomaly. They may hate it because they think it targets transgender children or only children of color, but they still hate it. No. Our equity proponents who speak for children historically marginalized, they don't care. They don't care if they're targeted. They don't care about the transgender children that they say they care about. Don't care if they're a gaggle or securely Go Guardian is flagging those kids because they're searching for words more than other children, which is probably true. Children in gender crisis are going to be searching for different things. But they don't care. They don't care about the kids they say that they care about. Period. Virginia is the anomaly in the world, okay? The nation. I was on a show this week with a guy, Mark in Oklahoma. He said, "You have no textbooks?" None. Shocked. Completely shocked. What do you mean you have none? Yeah. That's because we're one of the 19 states plus DC where it's left to our Department of Education. So they removed them. And if you do have them, then you have somebody in there that's going rogue. Because they have to provide So anyway, as we wrap up, I think it's really important to read this document and to acknowledge. So the things that they set in here, so they're saying that 3 to 4 hours a day for 6th through 12th grade, that would be secondary. 2 to 3 hours a day for elementary. Age 2 to 5, 1 hour. I would have been asking, why are you setting standard for 2 to 5-year-olds? Pre-crime, Minority Report, they knew it was coming. Okay? And then I want to point out real quick as I close, because I've got to go decorate one of my kids' trees. Or I'm going to flip out if I don't actually look like I've been a mother to my own children. Is this intro paragraph right here, guys. It's everything that if you watch the last couple shows. And so, one of my, journalist friends, right before I got on here, he's pissed his 10-year-old has to have an email and a Chromebook and all this stuff. It is essential that you get the opt-out forms from us, especially if your child is under the age of 13. It is also essential that all of you figure out why the VSBA school board attorney, Sands Anderson, has an article telling school boards that unless Miares enforces it, they don't have to do it, which requires affirmative parental opt-in for children under 13 until we can change COPA. But if your children is under 13, you can opt out of all of this stuff. Now, whether they do it, I don't know. But if you don't do it, sorry. They're collecting so much data on your child. They will determine if your child is going to print t-shirts or make widgets. And their education is, they admit it. Guys, they admit it. Personalized learning, differentiating, like, they're using the behaviors, the assessments for personalized learning. Each child is being given personalized learning. Think about the words that people say from now on. And right here, digital device is the foundation for virtual learning and can enhance the education process. Really? What education process? You have to start examining words, listening to words that they say. Okay? They don't mean anything that they... Whose education process? Enhance the educational process. Did anybody see academics? I didn't. So then they go into the whole, oh yeah, it's harmful, but it's all. We also read somewhere in one article that it's not harmful. Because guys, that's how meta-analysis works, and you'll see evidence-based. Guys, evidence-based is not research-based. Evidence-based is like a one-time, one-shot, we found it worked. It's not like empirical data built up over years and actually evaluated to make sure that it consistently works and then see how the child developed. So when you see the word evidence-based, it should send bells off. It's not research. Okay? The same thing with a meta-analysis. A meta-analysis means that you found one school in one city with one facet of this, that it worked somewhere. Meta-analysis, okay? One teeny tiny little portion. That's what meta-analysis means. And there's like 50 octopus tentacles to social emotional learning. So whenever you see we did a meta-analysis, it means that they took one tiny little piece and they found that it worked in one tiny little place, and then they said the whole program worked. That's how it works. So start paying attention to words. But that's after you write. We have been on top of it with Chesterfield. We cannot... They won't do anything. And we know about it. And we've been forcing it down their throat. When are you doing this? When are you doing this? When are you doing this? And we know about it. So they're getting pushback from somewhere and someone. As I said before, guys, no one's coming to save us. It's up to us. So that is the, I will scroll back up to this. Digital devices in the classroom. Health and safety guidelines. Write your school board. Remind them. They took an oath of office to uphold the Constitution of the United States and of Virginia. So, let them know that the law says shall. The department shall. Okay? Then you contact the people on the Board of Education, because here, so Jillian Balo, brought in by Youngkin, is the secretary of the board, but she also runs the department. That's the crossover. The board, the department, completely different. It took Gecker telling me that we were speaking to the wrong people for like 6 months for me to figure out that the board... So when you say we're going to the VDOE meeting, no, you're going to the VBOE meeting. You're going to the Board of Education. That's the people, the 9 people that sit in front of you. Okay, that's the board. The department develops this BS and all of the other social emotional learning, transgender, this, all the policies that our appointed lawmakers make. No, we elect you to make law. We don't elect you to make law and then pass it to an agency. Okay, that's appointed, not elected. Or they're just hired because they're then handing off the authority, which they don't have the constitutional ability to do. In the Virginia Constitution, it nowhere mentions the Department of Education. It mentions the board. The board is responsible. Same thing with school boards. You can't blame the fact that you don't know what curriculum is being taught on your curriculum department. Because in the Constitution, which we have to start acknowledging, it is your responsibility. The fact that you don't know, Chesterfield, that second step was implemented before you came in, sorry about your luck. You took the oath of office. You should ask the VSBA why they continue to force you to go to these weekend away and they never teach you about the law. Because I tell you this, if I have the money, I would come after every single one of you. It's not an excuse. Because in the Constitution, it says it's your job for curriculum and instructional development and what goes into those children's brain. I don't care who you say. I didn't know what it was. Not my problem. You took an oath of office to uphold the Constitution of the United States and of Virginia. And this is in the Virginia Constitution. Sorry about your luck. Don't take an oath of office. Don't come and sit on a school board and think that you're just going to sit there and be told what to do by special interest groups, lawyers, because guess what? We're above you. We elect you. They work for you. Guys, Loudon should have done this with Scott Ziegler. Perfect example. He was found guilty of everything. It didn't need a court case to fire him. And that's why they're all criminals. Everybody who sat there for the last year and a half and let that man still run that division. They're all criminals, Joe. They didn't need a court case. They proved in FOIA and all this other stuff that he did what they said. They didn't need a court case. So, anyway, that's that. Write them. Let me know what they say. And then we'll work it out again tomorrow about who got what response from their school board. And then we'll go from there. But, guys, RF radiation, I mean, if you don't know the damage of RF radiation or screen time damage or the fact that you've never even received a peep about any of this, and that they actually are telling every 30 minutes they should take brain breaks, and 15 minutes and close their eyes for every 2 hours of screen time. Nobody's ever done that. Ever. And if I'm wrong, tell me. I'd love to praise a division that's doing it right, or a teacher that's doing it right despite having no policy telling them to do so. Because I've been looking at this screen for an hour, and my head hurts. Like, I could never learn on a computer, like, without a book. But my head hurts after an hour. So imagine what these kids go through. Imagine what their heads feel like. Anybody have kids with migraines? Not normal. So, that's that. But good luck. Let me know how it goes.